Well, let's go back now to the Help to Buy scheme that the Prime Minister's been talking about this morning. I'm joined now by housing expert Henry Pryor. Good afternoon to you. Well, what do you think of it?
Well, it's a very strange time to be moving this very controversial policy up the batting order, arranged against the Prime Minister and the Tory party. The previous and current Governor of the Bank of England, the IMF, building societies, lenders, banks, house builders, all share concerns over Help to Buy. Whilst the idea of Help to Buy getting people onto the housing ladder is laudable, and the Conservatives have done a great deal to champion that as their motivation, inevitably there will be, or there is a danger of a spin-off of ramping house prices, and it would appear that going forward from here, I think that certainly through the next couple of years until the 2015 election, both average asking prices across the country and average sale prices across the country will be higher then in 536 days' time at the next general election than they are today.
That's a good bit of quick calculation there from you. But the point is helping young people get on the property ladder. It's all very well to talk about, which I'm sure you would say and everyone would say, we've got to build more houses. That's kind of generally accepted, isn't it? But that's a long-term thing. It doesn't help people, now, today, 6 months, even a year down the line, does it?
It's probably irrelevant to be at all cynical about the timing of this announcement. As Norman Smith was saying, it's the Tory party conference this coming week, and clearly the Conservatives are very keen to put some clear blue water between themselves and the other political parties. They've said no to a mansion tax. They're saying we'll bring forward the Help to Buy scheme, Help to Buy 2, which is, and the important thing about Help to Buy 2 is it's going to allow people to buy houses up to £600,000, both new build and second-hand houses, I should say. So this is going to help people it's going to give more money to people to buy a finite supply of property, and inevitably if you give everybody an extra £5 or £10 in order to do that, they're going to spend it on that house, and as a result we're going to see higher house prices.
So I'll come back to my question. You do think it's more houses. The supply is the important thing, but that's proved a very intractable problem, hasn't it? You run into green belt issues. People don't want to see more houses built near them, etc., etc.
It is very, very difficult. But if one is going to look at what's underlying the foundations, as it were, of the national housing crisis, it's the inability of people to be able to acquire property to live in, whether it's to rent or indeed to own. The idea of us being a nation of homeowners, something that a legacy left over from the Second World War, may make good copy for blue rinse delegates at the Tory party conference, but that's not what the majority of the country seems to need, which is on a finite amount of land, more properties for those who need to be able to be housed, and for those properties to be affordable rather than making them more expensive, which is what most people regard this Help to Buy scheme will deliver.
I was speaking to Chris Leslie, the shadow Financial Secretary to the Treasury, a little earlier on, and he was saying that there's this land bank, so many companies, I presume he mean builders, but maybe others, sitting on great piles of land which they're unwilling to develop for the moment. They want to see the value rise on. Is that an issue?
Well, it's part of the issue. We have to remember that this idea that somehow we're going to be able to encourage private companies, effectively, they may be publicly listed, but they're answerable to their shareholders. They're trying to extract value from the assets and the raw materials that they have. I think it's slightly naive of anyone to suggest that perhaps somehow they'll be able to tax house builders and developers and force them somehow to release more land. What we need is more building land to be made available, both brown land sites that government perhaps and local authorities already own, but the idea that somehow we can extend, as one of the political parties was suggesting just last week, to extend compulsory purchase rules and regulations to encourage local authorities to be able to take back in hand land, I think is naive, possibly from a number of points of view.
Henry Pryor, very grateful to you. Thank you very much indeed.